Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Okay, let's get busted out of here. Make sure there's no unpleasant entities about. Find west, which is that way, and commence to traveling onwards to the FarLands. Oh, yes. Okay, first, let's get rid of that. And I guess I'll be using up the boats. Probably like one of them right now, even. Just simply because I don't want to take the time and slowness and bounciness of swimming right now. Yes. Anywho, yes, it's been a couple of weeks since the last episode. My apologies for that, but there has been issues. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Because, honestly, most folks know what my issues are these days anyways. Yeah. Anyway, this is the, let's see, the morning of the 556th Minecraft day since leaving spawn, as we journey westwards to the FarLands. And let's see, this is episode 183, and the size of the world, 6,743.48 megabytes. Yeah, getting there. And yes, as we travel onwards, westwards to the FarLands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Why do I use the old version? Because it's the last version of Minecraft to still have the FarLands in it. Yes. I understand why they took them, why they went ahead and did the thing that took them out, but in a way, I kind of do wish that they hadn't removed the FarLands, but oh well. That's neither here nor there. It's about 12 million blocks at least. Shut up, cow. Nobody wants to hear you. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, as I walk towards the FarLands here, I keep saying we, because, and it's one of those pet peeves of mine of people saying we in gaming videos and let's plays and stuff, you know, we are going to do this and we are going to do that and so on, but it's not we. There is no we, you know. But I fall into that trap of doing it myself sometimes, in spite of the fact of how much it drives me nuts that other people do it. Yes, let's not step into the deep pit of doom. Yeah. Anyway, as I walk through the beta Minecraft terrain, one of the things I do is I talk a lot, and I yak about all sorts of things, including answering questions. So, I have a long list of questions in a text file, and sometimes folks ask more than one, but let's see. Okay, an individual who identifies himself, whose YouTube name is That One Boy, says, what's your craziest, more interesting memory? I don't really have a whole lot of crazy kind of memories. I have some that are fairly interesting, but honestly, my most interesting, the only things that I can think of are not the kind of things that I would discuss in a YouTube video. Sorry. Yeah. Moving on. Uh, let's see. Jarrett Bueller has actually one comment that asked several questions. So we'll get right into that here. First was, who are your favorite Minecraft YouTubers from the early days? I can think of three that qualify for that. And first on that list, shut up, cow. First on that list would be co-star of the infamous Co's Quest Let's Play. And I've watched that Let's Play, that series, the whole thing, all 200 and I think it's like 219 episodes, something like that. I've watched the whole thing like 7 or 8 times now, and it is by far and away my favorite Minecraft Let's Play of all time. And he was the best Let's Player, I think, in a lot of ways. One of the big ones that impressed me a lot was that he wasn't one of these people that got all crazy with the yelling and screaming and cursing and all that crap that a lot of people do. And I so very much appreciated that. And really, I considered him to be kind of the gold standard for Minecraft Let's Players. The second in that list would be Zen, who, his stuff was awesome. I remember watching Nvidia's adventures every time there was a new episode, and also some of his Mindcrack stuff and so on. My only regret there is a regret concerning Zen. A few years ago, he got really fed up with a bunch of crap that he was getting, and things got so bad. I mean, as I understand it, there were a lot of these entities that make bogus copyright claims to make money off of your content and so on. He had a big problem with that, and it got really bad, and he eventually got so fed up with it that he deleted his channel. And that's a shame. I mean, I respect why he did it, but it was a shame, because that was another series, his Nvidia's adventures. That stuff was another thing that I enjoyed going back to rewatch. And then one day, a few years ago, I went back to rewatch it again, and it was gone. That's a shame. And the third person, YouTube personality from back in the day, would be Hypnotized. Hypno, who currently is part of Hermitcraft, has been for, well, longer than I was, longer than I have been, way longer. And his stuff was really, really good. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Okay, yeah. Okay, last boat. See how far I get before the sun sets and I have to sleep. So, okay, let's see. His second question: why do you absolutely hate background music on videos? because it's distracting. And oftentimes I find that in a strange way it can contribute to motion sickness, and don't ask me how, but it does contribute to motion sickness, which makes me physically sick in a bad way. Like, there's never a good way, of course. And mostly it's distracting. And the fact that I have a little bit of hearing loss, it makes it a lot difficult for me to hear the important part of the video, which is the commentary of the person talking when they're making the video. You know, I want to hear that. I don't want to hear the music. You know, and it makes it difficult for me to hear what they're saying, especially if they're not talking, you know, if they happen to be talking softly. You know, they're not talking loudly or clearly or anything like that, you know, and the music comes along and overwrites what they're saying, and I don't know what they're saying. I can't understand them, and that makes for frustration and changing the channel, you know. And I don't like that. There are a number of people whose videos that I would watch if they didn't do the background music thing. And I know in my very earliest, most Minecraft videos, all the way back in 2011, I did that myself. I had background music in like the first 10 or 12 episodes of my single player Let's Play in Minecraft. And somebody said something to me about it. And I sat back and I watched those episodes. I rewatched them myself. And that's when I realized how incredibly annoying it was. And I stopped doing it. It's annoying, it's distracting, and it's especially annoying when it makes it harder for me to hear what someone is saying. And so I don't do it, and I won't. It's just like some people ask me, why don't you use a face cam? Because there's no point. I don't see the point of it. I don't see the reason for it. When I'm watching a game video, I want to see the game. I'm not looking to see the gamer's face. I'm looking to see the game. And if you put a face cam in the thing, it's going to cover up part of the HUD or the game screen or whatever, you know. It's going to cover up something. Inevitably, it's going to cover up stuff, and inevitably, some of what it covers up at some point is going to be something that I want to see, and I can't because the face cam is on top of it. So, not a fan of face cams. Don't see the point in it. Plus, it also requires a webcam to do that, and I don't have a webcam. Well, I take that back. My laptop does have a webcam in it, but the laptop webcam has the blinding resolution of 320 by 240 or something like that. So, yeah, nobody wants to see that. And plus, it's on my laptop, and my laptop is from 2011, and I don't use it anymore for, well, hardly at all. I start it up maybe 2 or 3 times a month for a few minutes, and then I'm done. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. I probably need some wool, don't I? Yeah. Just sticking with the white wool so I don't have to have more than one stack. Or more than one inventory slot devoted to it. Yeah. Let's see. His third question. How much have you mined in all of your Minecraft series combined? Oh, that's a lot. And I'm sorry, but I can't answer that question really, because that would have to assume that I have actually kept track in all of those series, and I didn't. I just did it. So I couldn't even begin to guess, but a lot is the best answer I can give you. Let's see. Fourth, how do you survive with barely any heat? Because the alternative is unacceptable. Because I'm stubborn. I survive on pure stubbornness. Although these days, barely any heat is not the situation anymore, due to some adventures and generosity that I've experienced in the last few months. I have plenty of heat this winter. It's a novel situation that I hope to get used to. But yeah, I survived with barely any heat because how I did it was just on pure stubbornness, and of course the reason is that the alternative is unacceptable. The alternative, surviving is the thing, and the alternative to surviving is unacceptable. Let's see, the fifth one. Do you mind telling us what appliances you have that are as old as your house? Okay, that's an odd sounding question to me, but okay. My house, the house that I rent and live in, is, so far as I know, approximately, it was made around in the neighborhood of 1977. That's when the house was built. And so far as I know, the stovetop, oven, range, whatever thing, it's a stovetop with 4 burners, electric stove with 4 burners, and below that is a standard full-size oven, and above it is another oven, a second oven that's about 2/3 the size of a full one. That, I believe, is original to the house. And I don't know. I think the furnace might be original. I don't know. It looks old enough. On the other hand, it is it's not just a plain straight up gas burning furnace. Well, it's not a, I think, very old fashioned, super old fashioned type of thing. It does have something on it somewhere that labels it as a pulse furnace, which I believe, I don't know if that technology was around in 1977 or not. So I couldn't tell you. So that would be about it. Everything else in the house, I believe, has been replaced one or more times since then. Let's see. Sixth, would you have a built-in sound system installed in your house if you could afford it? No, because I don't listen to music very often. I really don't. I mean, there's plenty of music that I actually like a lot, but most of the time I don't want to hear it. Even the stuff I like. And I suppose that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but there you go. Yeah. And finally, the last question on that list is, I am one of the last millennials to be born. What is my age? I couldn't possibly even begin to guess. I don't know. I never, ever, ever kept track of or cared about any of that kind of stuff. The Generation X or Generation Y or Z or millennials or any of that stuff. I never cared about any of that crap. So I couldn't tell you if I had to. I honestly don't know because I never cared. Okay, moving on here. Scott Edwards says, I enjoy your videos and learning what you did in the past, but I was wondering, and this could be a follow-up question to your answer here, how were you able to retire so early? I'm 56 and would love to retire now and just relax and do my thing, but there isn't any way I could survive. Well, my retiring involved several things, none of which were voluntary, and none of which I would repeat if I could avoid them. You know, if I could go back in time and live that part of my life over again and so on, I would avoid those events. There is, let's see, the car accident that messed up my arm. That was part of it. And my employer moved the place of business. He moved the workplace to a new location that made the commute into a 50-mile one-way trip. So it would be 100 miles of commute. And I simply was not going to do that. It was a shame, too, because I liked the job. And the other factor is chronic low back pain. There was a time in there in the late 1990s that problem got worse. And it got worse in a big way. And yeah. Well, the way it is now, I'll give you an example. The way it is now, if I get up and walk into the kitchen, which from where I'm sitting right now is approximately 15 feet, walk in there and then stand at the stove or kitchen table preparing some food, then by the time I'm finished, 5 to 10 minutes later, my back is hurting so bad that I feel like I'm ready to fall over because it hurts so much. And I have to, I get to a point where I have to stop what I'm doing and go and sit down for a good 5 to 10 minutes so that I can then go back and stand up long enough to finish what I was doing. So, yeah, there was no master plan, no massively ingenious strategy to enable retiring earlier. I retired because essentially, it boils down to my job left me and I became kind of unemployable. As in, nobody would hire me now. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. Okay, moving on. Okay, I have to look here. Bill Wohl, or I think that's how you pronounce that. Ever watch Pierce in the TV show Remington Steele? P.S. Did you get contact? Well, I skipped some of that, but it's basically about a TV show called Remington Steele. And then also asked, did you get contacts? Your old viz show you wearing glasses. Yes, I watched Remington Steele. I thought it was great with Pierce Brosnan and what's her face. It was good. It was funny and a lot of fun. And honestly, I think that show might be at least part of the reason that Pierce Brosnan ended up being Bond for, what was it, 4 or 5 movies? That he actually got the role of James Bond. I think that show might have been part of it. I can't say for certain because, it's just my opinion. But yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Pierce Brosnan was great in it. So was the woman he was in the show with, but I can't for the life of me remember who she was. And as for contacts, no, I never did get contacts. Some time ago, I had a growing problem with my glasses. I had been a long time without getting a new set, and the ones that I had were less and less good. And so I had started, I took to taking them off when I'm just sitting in front of the computer, because the computer screen is like 12 to 15 inches in front of my face, and I don't really need the glasses to see that. And so these days, even though I have since gotten new glasses that are better, I still, to this day, I don't wear my glasses except for when I'm driving. Because when I'm not driving, I'm sitting here at home in front of the computer, or maybe I might be sitting someplace reading a book, and, an actual book made of paper, one of those. And I don't need glasses for that because it's, I'm holding it in my hand right there. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. I don't wear them unless I have to. It's like footwear. I have developed a very simple, effective way to make one set of footwear last for 2 or 3 years. And the secret is deviously simple. And that is, don't wear them unless you actually have to go out. A very simple, elegant solution, I think. If you don't wear them unless you actually have to, they will last a lot longer. You know, it's like I consider it to be a good week if I can actually go 7 consecutive days without having to leave the house. Because what can I say? I would rather stay home on any given day. I don't want to go anywhere. I only go to the store because I have to. And so on. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that's all up. Let's see. And I think this will probably be the last one for today. Outer Cubed asked, if you're still taking questions for the Journey to the FarLands, then I have one for you. Have you tried VR? Or if not, would you try it? I have not tried VR because, well, let's face it, VR is one of those things that, well, the way I put it, VR is for people, for rich people. It's for people who can afford to spend a lot of money on technology toys that, while interesting and even cool, are not actually important or necessary. And that's what I feel about VR. I think that it's cool and interesting, and yeah, I'd like to try it, but I'm not going to spend the money on it. Okay, let's see. Let's get that down here and make up 3 more. And I need to get logs next episode. There we go. All right, drop this, pick that up. Okay, so drop a couple of things here. See if I can get over here without picking them back up. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.